It is another edition of your weekly Executive Rendezvous with Olushayo Babatunde. As usual, I'm here to spice up your Sunday evening with series of reports ranging from social, religious, human angle stories, hard and soft news, with Sunday extra reports that make the bulletin extraordinarily attention-grabbing, from the News and Current Affairs Department of OSBC Radio 104.5, Ile-Awuje Oke-Bale Oshogbo. On Sunday Extra, your maximum enjoyment is our core duty, and so I promise that this week's edition is not going to be an exception, as we have packaged it again segment by segment for your extreme satisfaction. On this week's edition of Sunday Extra, President Muhammadu Buhari departs Abuja for New York, United States, to attend the annual meeting of world leaders, that is the United Nations General Assembly, the UNGA 77. The theme for the 77th session, which opened last Tuesday, is a watershed moment, transformative solutions to interlocking challenges. Key topics of discussion at the UNGA this year includes the war in Ukraine, the energy crisis, climate action, ending the COVID-19 pandemic, and a special transforming education summit. President Buhari will take his turn to deliver the national statement on the second day of the general debate on Wednesday, September 21. The Nasarawa State Police Commander arrested Usman Danladi, also known as Murderer, for allegedly chopping off the wrist of a 25-year-old man, Jibrin Abdullahi, in Tudunwada area, outer Balefi of Karo local government area of the state. One of the predominant social vices in the society is prostitution, which has been fine-tuned and given a modern name, hookup. In the past, it is not uncommon to hear young girls among the female folks on campus. However, with the ailing economy, prostitution among ladies has taken a new dimension. Why is female folk resorting to hookup, and what are the attendant implications? Very soon, our DME Abode will be unveiling answers to these on Sunday Extra. This is Sunday Extra, getting to you live from the broadcasting village of OSBC here at Ile-Awuje Oke-Bale Oshogbo. First, let's give you the headlines of the hard news before moving to the main bulletin and Sunday Extra report proper. The Senate to adopt tactical approach solving 2023 budget deficit. Federal government to set up job centers in 774 local government areas. Mass start by wife's lesbian partner buried in Onitsha. And Sunday Extra provides answers to reasons why the female folk resort to hook up. And now the news first. The Nigerian Senate said it will address the 2023 budget deficit of 11.3 trillion naira through the amendment of the relevant provisions of the Finance Act. This was made known by the Senate Committee on General Services, Senator Sonny Musa, stressing that they will dwell on areas of making the various revenue-generating agencies to triple their targets, as will be handed over to them by the parliaments. The lawmaker made this known after the Senate makeshift chambers was suspected by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan ahead of Tuesday's resumption of lawmakers in the upper and lower legislative chambers. President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to present the 2023 annual budget, which was pegged at 19.76 trillion naira, with a total of 11.3 trillion naira deficit, which the lawmakers are looking for ways to abridge. On the innovation of the National Assembly complex, the lawmaker said it has been overdue, particularly the chambers of the houses, which he believes will be comparable with others around the world after the renovation. In the meantime, the House of Representatives says it will resume plenary on Tuesday at the temporary chamber. This is contained in a statement today in Abuja by the clerk to the House, Mr. Yahaya Danzaria. Mr. Danzaria explained that due to the ongoing renovation in the old chamber, members are expected to resume plenary at the new improvised chamber in the new building with a capacity of 118 seats only. He noted that the new chamber has been expanded by an upper deck provision with capacity of 236 seats, adding that rooms had been connected audiovisually and electronically with large screens. According to him, there were no designated seats apart from the allocation for presiding and principal officers, noting that all other seating arrangements will be based on arrivals. The clerk to the House also stated that no provisions are made for legislative aids due to space. Worried by the high rate of unemployment, the federal government has announced that it is setting up job centers in the 774 local government areas of the country, as well as improving the Nigerian electronic labor exchange to match job seekers with jobs. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Labor and Employment, Ms. Kachalom Daju, discussed this when she received members of Labor Correspondents of Nigeria, LACAN, in Abuja. Ms. Daju explained that the government had already made provision to enable the formal sector, especially the artisans, be included in the National Health Insurance Act that was recently passed into law to help those that have not been able to take care of themselves or their families when they are ill to go to the hospitals and be taken care of. According to her, it is not just federal government, but the private sector is expected to play a huge role because the public cannot all be dependent on the government. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says it has recorded 8 additional Lassa fever infections and 1 death in the last 2 weeks. The NCDC, via its official website, explained that the new cases bring the total confirmed cases and deaths in the country to 917 and 171, respectively. It also disclosed that 25 states have recorded at least 1 confirmed case across 102 local government areas. According to the NCDC, 6,660 suspected cases have been reported in the country. The Public Health Agency disclosed that of the new confirmed cases, Ondo accounted for 32%, Edo 26%, and Bauchi 13%. The NCDC added that the number of suspected cases has increased compared to that which was reported for the same period in 2021, noting that no new healthcare worker was affected in the reporting week. It also advised Nigerians to cover dustbins and dispose of refuse properly. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has reconstituted its anti-vandal units across the country. The NSCDC Commandant General Ahmed Audi, while making the announcement, charged the units to make the difference in waging war against crude oil thieves. Audi revealed that the newly reconstituted unit and their members are expected to discharge their responsibilities without fear or favor and ensure that sanity returns to the oil industry. The SDC boss said that the dissolution and subsequent reconstitution of the anti-vandal units nationwide was necessary to reposition the Corps for effective implementation of a statutory mandate of safeguarding national assets, especially petroleum pipelines and other oil installations. The Commandant General gave a marching order to state commandants to deploy all machineries both on land and in the waterways to carry out massive arrests and possible prosecution of oil thieves. As schools are set to resume tomorrow, the Anambra State government says it has banned the wearing of short skirts by female students in schools. The State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chuma-Ude, who met with education secretaries of public and mission schools at the Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board, describes such mode of dressing as morally wrong. She condemns the wearing of meaningless uniforms to schools, stating that it was morally wrong and unacceptable to the standards desired for children of the state. Mrs. Chuma-Ude said the acceptable lengths for uniforms in the state remained knee length and not above the knee, as was fast becoming the fashion. The commissioner charged the education secretaries to ensure that schools, both public and private in the state, comply with the directives and salvage the future of the students of the state. She also charged the participants to infuse the right morals and discipline in students so that they will grow to be of good behavior and conduct. The role of youth in nation building will be the talking point tomorrow on Onoshiluwa, an OSBC weekly current affairs Yoruba personality interview program. Guest on the program is a business development consultant, Mr. Olamide Awosunle. The Labour Party chieftain will also be speaking on varying issues of public interest as they affect the 2023 general elections. Mr. Awosunle, who is also the special assistant on youth development and wealth creations in the palace of the Oni of Ife, will be giving guides on how Nigerian youths will be professionals in politics as against the usual professional politicians. As usual, Oshiluwa will equally look into situations of things in the southern part of the country, especially the impact of the weekly sit-at-home order by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Keep a date with Latif Agbola and his guest, Mr. Olamide Awosunle, as Oshiluwa takes the airwaves at the 1:15 in the afternoon on OSBC Radio 104.5. Ravaging fire has reportedly engulfed a block of 7 flats at Olonoshogo area in Ilorin West local government area of Kwara State in the early hours of today, and left household property estimated at about 8.5 million naira destroyed. The fire incident, which was reported to the State Fire Service by a resident, destroyed the building before the fire servicemen arrived to put it off as a way of curbing its spread to surrounding buildings. Head of Media and Publicity of the State Fire Service, Hazan Adekunle, said that a fire incident was instigated by a power surge as a result of high voltage of electricity supply to the area. He, however, revealed that no human life was lost in the incident, as all residents in the flats were lucky to make up and ran out the building, while the firemen who arrived later in the area put out the fire and saved about 4.5 million naira worth of property. In the meantime, the director of Kwara State Fire Service, Prince Falade Olumuyiwa, urged the citizens to always cultivate the habit of switching off their electrical appliances even before the bell time, as this will help them to prevent the chances of fire outbreak in their various homes, and also help them to drastically reduce it. The National State Police Command today arrested one Usman Danladi, also known as Murderer, for allegedly chopping off the wrist of a 25-year-old man, Jibrin Abdullahi, in Tudunwada area, Hauta Balefe of Karu local government area of the state. A statement issued by the National State Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Rahman Nansel, said the arrest was sequel to information on the attack which happened over the weekend. The PPRO told journalists that the suspect has confessed that he committed the crime. According to the police spokesperson, the suspect alleged that the victim had assaulted his girlfriend named Aisha before fight ensued between them. The Commissioner of Police, CP Additional Shoyemi, has directed that the case be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department, Lafia, for further investigation, after which the suspect will be charged to court for prosecution. Officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency said they have arrested an ex-convict, Onyeka Charles, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, for importing 5.90 kilograms of cocaine concealed in cans of deodorants and ladies' lip gloss into Nigeria. This was disclosed in a statement by the spokesperson for the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi. The suspect had earlier been sentenced to 7 years imprisonment in Ethiopia for drug trafficking offenses and released from prison in 2020. He was intercepted at the Lagos airport while returning from Sao Paulo, Brazil, via Addis Ababa on an Ethiopian airline. The 44-year-old indigene of Oka, North local government area of Anambra State, said he was expecting to be paid 2 million naira on the successful delivery of the illicit drug in Nigeria. A man identified as Ikechukwu, popularly known as Ayaya, who was reportedly killed by a lady suspected to be the lesbian partner of his wife, had been buried in Onitsha. The news of the death of Ikechukwu broke in early August, as he was said to have been stabbed to death by his wife's lesbian partner after he allegedly caught both of them in bed in his house. Sources said the alleged killer was found of seizing money given to her lover's maid to buy items, and on the fateful day, she seized money from the maid, which was meant for fuel. Unable to withstand the humiliation, Ikechukwu was said to have charged to the home of the wife's lesbian partner and warned her seriously, but she dared him, and when an argument ensued, she stabbed him with a knife, leading to his death. The Alakwini of Oyo, High Chief Abdulrashid Shehu, one of the members of Oyo Mesi, is dead. It was learned that Alakwini died while in battle with undisclosed sickness in the early hours of today. He has been buried according to Islamic rites this evening. Alakwini's death is coming a few days after the Oyo Mesi shortlisted 10 candidates for the position of Alaafin of Oyo, which is currently vacant. The throne became vacant as a result of the transition of the 45th Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Atanda Olayiwola Adeyemi. And I welcome you to Sunday Extra Proper. One of the dominant social vices in society nowadays is prostitution, which has been fine-tuned and given a modern name, hookup. In the past, it is not uncommon to hear words like "wrong girls" among the female folks on campus. However, with the ailing economy in the country, prostitution among ladies has taken a new dimension. Why is female folk resorting to hookup, and what are the attendant implications? Over now to Adeyemi Abodere, who is standing by to provide answers to this on Sunday Extra.
Prostitution is a very fast-rising abnormality in the society, most especially in the tertiary institutions among female gender. With the ailing economy and coronavirus pandemic causing global job loss, prostitution has taken a new dimension. It has been rebranded and given a smooth name, hookup. With the current economic crisis and lack of financial wherewithal, female gender, most especially students, now see hookup as a means of generating funds for their upkeep. The word hookup was borrowed from American culture, and it basically means a relationship where a guy and a girl who find each other attractive have a short time, usually mutually consensual sexual relationship. In other words, they hook up with each other just for the sake of consensual sexual relationship and without the intention of establishing a long-term relationship where they are expected to be faithful to each other. Gone are the days when young ladies hung out on highways, bars and clubs awaiting men to engage them sexually, either for money or other needs. They now book appointment with the opposite sex in the comfort of their homes. Due to the increasing number of women engaging in such practice, there has emerged a new job known as hookup managers, who scout for ladies and connect them with men on demand. Observers are of the view that the rise in prostitution in the name of hookup is a product of new lifestyle, while some sees it as the materialistic tendencies of the society, but ladies sees it as an avenue for break business and survival in the face of grinding poverty and want, as morality not been thrown to the dogs. A public affairs observer, Dr. Yinka Andrews, told Sunday Extra that there is an urgent need for social orientation of the society, most especially the female folk, to embrace morals without compromise, even in the face of adversity, instead of engaging in immorality.
You will never see anything untoward in a Yoruba culture. Recall, this prostitution we are talking about is not a Yoruba thing. An average Yoruba man would rather go a begging, would rather be a slave, than to be seen doing anything that would destroy the name of the family. In Yoruba parlance, if you are caught stealing, you will be ostracized from society. Nobody will have anything to do with that family again. It was that serious. But like I said, things are changing. We have intermarried. So a lot of things has gone into the killing Yoruba ethos before. it has now been mixed with all sorts of things. That is, by the way, what is incoming now. For me, I want to repeat, it is now the permissible society. Everything goes. Whatever you can do to make money, you must have had people selling their parents, or children now faking kidnapping of their parents in order to make money. What kind of a life is this? So I will say that we should go back to the old ways that used to be. Parents should train their children to the extent that even if you don't have money to give, they should encourage that child to do work, to work with his or her hand to make money rather than going the bad way.
For Dr. Andrews, female folks sell their bodies for money to portray a flashy and obtrusive lifestyle by buying designer shoes and bags and use of latest materials, most especially smartphones. Undoubtedly, greed and peer group pressure also contribute to it as well. Many are falling prey to ritualist, unexpected pregnancy, and lack of academic focus as effect of engaging in hookup. Many times, students flood their social media pages with hookup updates, confidently and comfortably flaunting obscene pictures and videos to entice the opposite sex to subscribe to their channels. For a student of the Department of Mass Communication, National Open University Oshogbo Campus, Adiola Rahim, there's nothing to gain in hookup. She wants something done to curb the rising trend.
So it's really going to affect a lot, but especially those generation growing up.
Some identifiable implications of engaging in hookups includes increase in the rate of sexually transmitted diseases, high rate of academic failure, the rise in social vices like kidnapping, human trafficking, ritual killings, among others. With the disastrous consequences, effort should be made to increase moral education to change the rising trend. For Sunday Extra, Adeyemi Aboderi reporting.
It is an undeniable fact that death is inevitable for all mankind, irrespective of status and religious inclination. However, while some pass away to the great beyond, their absence is greatly felt by families, close friends, and to some extent, the community, the state, and even the country at large. The demise of Deaconess Dorcas Megbagbiola Orelusi shook the entire town of Ikeji in Osun State, as many describe her as a woman of great virtues whose influence and intellectual ability have shaped many lives for good. OSBC reporter Oluwatobilobo Donoga witnessed the memorable moments of the final home journey of Deaconess Dorcas Megbagbiola Orelusi, who was highly celebrated even in death. For Sunday Extra reports.
A century is a great mile in the life of an individual who must have come to this world to fulfill destiny, seen many things and conquered so many tribulations, and positively impact the life of others. Little wonder why the children, grandchildren, families, and close relatives of Deaconess Dorcas Megbagbiola Orelusi, who died at the age of 102, rolled out drums to celebrate the glorious exit of a godly woman. Hundreds of thousands of people from far and near all converge on Ikeji in the Oriade local government area of Osun State to pay their last respect to a mother to all, Deaconess Dorcas Orelusi, whom they regarded as the one of a kind who positively touched the life of everyone she came in contact with. The final home journey of Deaconess Dorcas Megbagbiola Orelusi began with a Christian wake service in her residence in Ikeji. In a sermon at the Christian wake, the area pastor of the Apostolic Church Nigeria Okebukun Assembly Ikeji, Pastor Joshua Arowolo, acted on the need for all to live an exemplary life that pleases God. Pastor Arowolo noted that death is inevitable and the very end of all mankind, but the end of each and everyone matters. He urged all to always do things according to the word of God, adding that the joy of it all is that there is a life after death for all who gives their life to Christ. This follows the Apostolic Church Nigeria Okebukun Assembly Choir's rendition at the Christian Week.
ṣó wà náà wọ́n ti fi ìgbésí ayé ṣòfò ìgbé ayé tẹ́nìyàn wá tí ò ní Jésù ìfàyè ṣòfò ni o.
The children of late Deaconess Orelusi at the Christian Week also gave their special rendition in honor of their late mother, where they danced to the fullest to appreciate God's goodness. The burial event of late Dickness Orelusi climaxed with the burial outing and Thanksgiving service at the Apostolic Church Nigeria Okebukun Assembly, Ikeji-Arakeji. In their separate sermons at the burial outing and Thanksgiving service of late Dickness Orelusi, the area superintendent of the Apostolic Church Nigeria, Ipetu-Ijesha District, Pastor Joshua Makonjola, including Pastor Ebenezer Ogunrole and Pastor Gabriel Ogundigba, acted on the need for all mankind to reassess themselves so as to turn victorious in the afterlife. The clerics enjoined all to always be closer to God, for God has given up his Son, Jesus Christ, as the Savior of mankind. They noted that Jesus Christ is the truth and the light, and no one cometh unto God except through Christ Jesus.
Because without having Jesus, there is no hope for them in heaven, and they cannot be there. Otherwise, the position of those who rejected Jesus Christ is hell. And as a result of this, people should try to say that they accepted Jesus and they continue worshiping.
We can see that she's having a very good end because she has trained her children in the way of the Lord, and they have acclimatized themselves to it.
A limited time in this world. Therefore, we are going to spend eternity with Christ. Therefore, as Christ has promised us that he is going to prepare a place for us, that we should walk towards it and make sure that we enter the glory at the last day of our life.
According to the children, son-in-laws, relatives and members of the church, including the Secretary to Osun State Government, Prince Wole Oyebamiji, the wife of the SSG, Mrs. Bosede Oyebamiji Dickness, Olushola Taba, Mrs. Bumi Adebayo, and Mr. Isaiah Orelusi and Mr. Ade Fajemiroye described late Dickness Orelusi as a mother whose ways of life, generosity, kindness, and love for all would never depart from them.
Mother was a good mother, very nice, very humble.
My mother was very prayerful. She asked love for their children. My mother is very good, very nice.
So generous, kind-hearted Mama.
The Apostolic Church Nigeria Okebukun Assembly Mass Choir, with their melodious voices, gave their special rendition in appreciation of God's faithfulness in the life of the deceased. The remains of Dickness Dorcas Megbagbiola Orelusi were later committed to Mother Earth at a cemetery in Ikeji-Arakeji. Special prayers were offered for the children as well as immediate and extended families of late Dickness Orelusi. The people were entertained at the reception with the thrilling performance of Omo Alayo. Dickness Dorcas Megbagbiola Orelusi was born about 102 years ago to the family of Ashaolo of Ikeji-Arakeji. She died at the age of 102 on the 30th of July 2022. The deceased was in a lifetime businesswoman in pot molding and selling, mat weaving and selling and textile business. Sunday Extra wishes her eternal rest. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga for Sunday Extra.
Well, thank you, Oluwatobi Odunuga, for that special report. Death indeed is inevitable. And here again are the highlights of Sunday Extra for today. The Nigerian Senate said it will address the 2023 budget deficit of 11.3 trillion naira through the amendment of the relevant provisions of Finance Act. Worried by the high rate of unemployment, the federal government has announced that it is setting up job centers in the 774 local government areas of the country. And a man identified as a Kichuku, popularly known as Ayaya, who was reportedly killed by a lady suspected to be the lesbian partner of his wife, has been buried in Onitsha. Sunday Extra provided answers to reasons why the female women folk resort to hookup. And with that amazing package, particularly with the one from Adeyemi Abodere, which indeed actually unveiled answers to the ravaging questions of why female resorts to hookup and their tender lubrication, we have come to the end of today's edition of Sunday Extra. And that's all we have for you for today. Many thanks to the audio officer, Olajumoke Oladipo, Secretarial Assistant, Mubiade Olagbuju, And executive producer of Sunday Star is Abimbola Babatunde. My producer for today is Daniel Oyegoke. Not forgetting to appreciate Latif Agbola and Ridwan for providing the much needed assistance from the sidelines. And until next week, when we shall be coming your way and bringing another edition of Sunday Star to you, I remain Olushayo Babatunde, wishing you a pleasant week ahead. Good evening.